Hey guys, I'm Wildheart, I'm league coach as you can see it from my nickname, and today I will do patch 13.8 rundown for you. So let's get started, let's avoid small talks and dive right into the patch notes. Firstly, Aurelion Soul gets HP growth decreased, armor growth decreased. That's honestly not a bad nerf at all, because Aesol is a monster of a late game and they're basically nerfing his scaling. I don't think that's a big deal for Aesol, to be honest, unless he's playing for against something like Talon or Zed during the laning phase. However, yeah, I mean, surviving post level 6 will be just a little bit harder, but still, you don't pick Aesol to win the lane. You don't pick the Aesol to dominate the lane, right? You pick Aesol to somehow survive laning phase and destroy everyone in late game when you have items, when you have your tier stacked. Like, you don't want to play this champion if you want to win the lane. That's not his intention. Alright, Ezreal. Base AD increased. Base AD increased. I mean, plus 2 AD, that's not something that makes Ezreal meta, okay? Like, Ezreal cannot really compete in current League of Legends against Zeri, against Xayah, against Draven, Karthus. Like, all the meta ADCs are just stronger than Ezreal. And I mean, Ezreal can survive the laning phase against them, but once it gets to the point when those ADCs I mentioned are getting to the point of 3 items, there's like no way Ezreal can beat them, and they're barely outplayable for Ezreal, right? I don't think there is a way, unless they int by themselves. That's like the only way. But 2 AD is 2 AD, that's not a bad buff at all, it's something. Garen, base AD increased, base armor increased. Plus 3 AD, plus 2 armor. That's not bad. I mean, considering the fact that Garen is a melee top laner who always tanks all the damage, all the incoming damage. Like, he doesn't really care about sidestepping, about dodging stuff. So these plus 2 early armor, these plus 3 early AD, it sounds good. It actually sounds good to me. It's not like the reason why Garen is going to be OP or something, but it definitely increases Garen's potential, especially when it comes to playing matchup against something like Olaf, Camille, Aatrox, Jax, Fiora, like those meta bruisers who are popular on top lane, and it will help against them, that's for sure. Janna. W damage increased, E shield decay timer increased. That's actually a great buff. Not gonna lie. Janna's shielding before that was super short. It was like 1.25 second only, and now it gets to point of like 2.5 seconds. That's cool. That's actually cool. I really like the buff. Like, Janna doesn't need any buffs in terms of like her shielding power or cooldown on shields. Like, anything, buffing anything would be just a wrong idea. But buffing her shield decay timer is actually a great idea. I feel like it can make Janna stronger, but at the same time it won't make her broken. So that's a great thing. Her W is getting buffed as well. But that's only 10 damage. That's only 10 damage and plus 10% on AP scale. I mean, that's not really that big of a deal because no one is maxing Zephyr now. Like, everyone was maxing Zephyr in meta of Aerie and Domination Tree, but it's very rare to meet Janna who is maxing Zephyr and playing Aerie and Domination. Most of the times when I see Janna players, they're maxing their shield and they're playing something like Glacial Augment into Resolve, something like that. So that's very weird to see them buffing Zephyr, but this buff on shield is actually great. I love it a lot. Jarvan nerf, that's very good. In my games, Jarvan was over popular. Like, I've been getting Jarvan on my team, on enemy team, way too often. That was so annoying to deal against. AD growth decreased, Q damage decreased. Alright. Right. 0.4 AD. Nothing serious. Alright, 10 damage. 10 damage, 10 damage, 10 damage, 10 damage. Wait, so they just nerfed 10 damage on Q? For real. I mean, nothing serious, guys. Those who play German, they can keep playing German. It's like nothing that matters. Like, yeah, you are maxing Dragon Strike, like you are maxing his Q, but at the same time, losing 10 damage is not like something that will be end of the world. Like in one full scale all in, when you are fighting an enemy jungler or enemy whoever, you usually use your Q like twice, so you will miss like 20 damage. Not that big of a deal, right? As long as cooldowns are not touched, as long as his armor is not nerfed, he might be alright. Kayn. E-Shadow Assassin bonus movement speed decreased, cooldown increased. That's great. That's actually great. I really loved it because his movement speed in the walls was so annoying. Like, it was so difficult to deal against Kayn when he's getting his Shadow Assassin form. He was just way too quick, and catching him was quite difficult. And I also love the part that they nerf the cooldown on him because it was too abusable. Like, I love the part that they're nerfing boss. Like, they're nerfing his movement speed and they're nerfing his cooldown. And what I like, that while they are nerfing his mobility, they are not touching his damage, because I feel like for the fact how squishy he is, his damage is justified. Like, yeah, some people might say his damage is too high, but at the same time, guys, like, he's super squishy. If you catch Kayn in assassin form, in shadow assassin form, in misposition, you're one-shotting him. He's not getting away with that. So yeah, that's a very good nerf, a very healthy one. Overall, this patch looks great. Like, no one is getting buffed too hard or nerfed too hard, but it's more of like quality of life balance. It's great. Taste their Q. Plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. Plus 10 damage on Q. Wow. Wow. I mean, for Kha'Zix, it's a little bit more important than for Jarvan, because if you evolve your Q, you spam it. That's like your main damage source. So this 10 damage is much more important than for Jarvan. But at the same time, as long as his scales remain the same, he's not going to be somewhat popular in this meta. It's not about Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix as a champion in this meta is not that popular because most of the champions are super tanky. Like, it's difficult to one-shot someone because everyone is super tanky, and that's why Kha'Zix is not popular. Like, the champion itself is not weak. He's very good. Like, he's very good one for climbing if you know how to play it. But at the same time, it's not the champion like Jarvan or Zax that you can just play occasionally. If you play Kha'Zix, you usually main it most of the times. Kog'Maw. Passive true damage increased. Kog'Maw now got ghosted while in passive. Wait, he wasn't ghosted while in passive before? That's so stupid. Q cooldown decreased. E mana cost decreased. Slow increased. That's interesting. That's interesting. So many buffs for Kog'Maw. It's weird I didn't see him at least once in my games yet. Alright. Run, Kog, run. Kog'Maw is now ghosted while in his passive form. True damage is increased. Plus 15 to plus 100. Based on... Not that big of a deal, but that's actually great that it's ghosted now, because the fact that it wasn't ghosted, it's so stupid. Like, it's weird. Right, Q cooldown is reduced by 1 second. Not bad, not bad. I mean, Q is important. Like, normally as an ADC Kog'Maw, you're maxing W, and Q is your second skill to max. And this 1 second of cooldown is not a bad buff at all, because as Kog'Maw, the target who you're trying to focus, you usually try to hit with Q once in order to reduce their resists. So that's a good thing for sure. E Void Ooze, mana cost. Holy smokes. Okay. I mean, that's a lot for AP Kog. I remember Kog'Maw was somewhat popular on mid lane, and if you're playing mid lane Kog, the AP one, you're always maxing E. And considering how good this spell is for wave clearing, like getting it to the point of 40 mana at level 1, it's so weird. I mean, it helps him to survive laning phase, I guess. But it looks great. It actually looks great. Like level 1, and at level 9, it gets to the point of being the same in terms of mana cost. Hold on, so slow is just readjusted, right? Yeah, slow is just readjusted, it's not buff. In fact, it's nerfed later on. But honestly, that's not that big of a deal because his slow is massive. Like, once he's slowing someone with his E, his slow is very annoying to deal with. So I totally get this point. It's also cool it's buffed in early game. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense to me. Would be cool if it didn't get to the point of 100 mana at level 9 though. I feel like it's weird to make it the same mana because like Kog'Maw's issue is not mana cost at all. Like like the moment when he gets his lost chapter, and by the time he's level 9 he's usually going to have his lost chapter, that's for sure. He doesn't have any problems with mana because he goes tier. He usually plays Presence of Mind because he pokes a lot, and his entire kit is rounded up around mana. So this mana cost change is not like something important. Obviously, they are buffing his early game, but at the same time, it's weird they're trying to make it equal as it was before. I just don't get the point. What are they trying to achieve with it? Like, make him stronger early, but at the same time, numbers remain the same when he's level 9. So in fact, he's not becoming stronger. It just helps him to survive like first 5 levels. I mean, probably cool for AP Kog'Maw one tricks, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like that's something that can help him to solve all the problems he has in current League of Legends. That's weird. But well, let's move to Leona. W armor and magic resistance increased, magic damage increased. Alright, sounds interesting. Alright, so armor is increased by 5 points. That's not bad. I mean, that's not bad because with Leona you want to dive bot a lot, and these 5 armor, it's not like it's a game changer or something, but it's good. It's not a bad buff at all. Because Leona is not popular currently at all. And it's weird because champion is super easy, and usually super easy champions are somewhat popular. Alright, plus 5 magic resistance as well. Magic damage remains the same, but it's like plus 10. So plus 5, plus 5, plus 10. Not bad. I mean, not bad in order to buff Leona and like avoid making her overtuned. That makes sense. Lilia. Passive damage to monsters increased, healing against monsters increased, healing against champions adjusted. Okay. Monsters damage cap. Alright, that's good. That's actually good because I didn't see Lilia for a while. That's good. That's very good. Healing against monsters. Helping her to survive early game. That's good for sure because her early game is terrible now. Like, literally terrible. That's good. Healing against champions is nerfed. But the scaling is increased. That's actually such an interesting way to buff her. I really like that because they don't increase her early healing. Like the early healing remains the same. At the late game, scaling of levels remains the same, but scaling of AP is increased drastically. That's cool. I mean, overall, it must increase her healing, I feel. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it must increase a lot because it's like that's almost twice comparable to previous scaling. Malphite. W empowered attack damage decreased, cleave damage armor scaling decreased. God bless. That had to happen. Like, even though I love Malphite as a champion, he was just too strong. Just generally speaking, too oppressive to lane against, especially if you got to lane against AD Bruiser, and in case if he would max his W, was just too difficult to face. 30-45. Yeah, so they're basically nerfing his W max. Scaling remains the same, so armor scaling is not is not nerfed at all. Hold on. However, clear physical damage is nerfed by 5%. Alright, so AP wise it remains the same, but armor is a little bit nerfed. What about the flat damage? 30, 45 to 50. You know, guys, it doesn't sound too bad to me. Like, obviously it's a nerf. Obviously it's nerf. Clear physical damage, if you speak about flat numbers, it remains the same. But you know what? It can kinda be played around. If you want to play Malphite and max W as we used to do it before, we can do like 3 points in W and max Q afterwards. So this way you kind of steroid your laning phase, but at the same time you abandon W afterwards, and you max second the most prioritized spell for you. So it sounds cool. I mean, they nerfed the champion, so you obviously don't want to just max W. But for laning phase, getting 3 points in W doesn't sound too bad for me at all. Because this way you will only lose like 10 damage on this empowered hit, like the first hit, right? But at the same time, what is 10 damage? It's like not that big of a deal, right? Especially for such a long cooldown spell. Like usually you just get a couple of hits in and run away. And Q is not a useless spell at all, like usually you max Q, so why not? Plus E is not touched. I don't think it's a big issue for Malphite, to be honest with you guys. Like, you still go the same items, right? And the main reason why Malphite is strong is not only his spells, but mainly the items he builds. So, if you still go Frostfire Gauntlet, if you still go Frozen Heart, you might be alright. You shouldn't have any issues playing against it, because you just have the same items. The game is the same for you, so yeah. Needly, base armor increased, armor growth increased. Woo. Woo. That's very interesting. Honestly, I hate seeing Nidalee being buffed, because I don't like playing against Nidalee in general. Like, if the person I'm playing against has a good idea about the champion, they usually just 1v9 the game with Nidalee. That's why it's so annoying to play against. And for me, as someone who is playing bot lane, it's so difficult to play against Nidalee if Nidalee knows how to play the game, right? Because Nidalee is one of the best champions who can destroy bot lane by indirectly tower diving, by just hitting spears from behind, from the bush. And yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to do something against it if you're, let's say, level 1, level 2 ADC or support, and Nidalee is coming bot lane when she's level 3. It's very difficult to do something, and she's very strong for early game if she knows how to play the game. On top of that, she works really well with someone who has direct CC, so champions like Maokai, Renekton, Leona, Nautilus, like literally anyone who can hold the enemy champion on the same spot work really well with Nidalee. Poppy. Q damage increased, W bonus resistance increased. Okay, that's cool. I didn't see Poppy in game for a while. I think I saw her once in this patch, and the guy who was playing Poppy was like Poppy one trick, so yeah, Poppy is not popular at all. Sad, but it is what it is. Alright, a Hammer Shock. Target health damage 8% to 9%. Cool. Not bad at all. Bonus resistance is 10% to 12%. No, this will be doubled to 24%, while Poppy is below 40% maximum health. Alright. I mean, that's not bad. This Poppy is kind of difficult to balance here, because she is not a weak champion. I don't think Poppy is weak by any meaning. Like, for top lane, there are some matchups who cannot really play the game against Poppy if Poppy plays well. For example, Camille struggles badly against Poppy. For example, Jax, he can kill Poppy, but at the same time, Poppy can kill Jax early on, and if Jax does one mistake, if Jax dies at least once, Poppy can snowball this matchup badly. That's why buffing her is kinda difficult. Like, she's not a big champion at all, she's just not popular, probably because of her design, I think, because she doesn't seem to be super fun to play. Rakan. Base armor decreased, armor growth decreased. God bless, super good. I'm not sure how it happens in your games, guys, but in my games, it's super annoying to get to play against Rakan, because every single time Rakan is blind picked, he can play against anything, basically. Like, the only champion who I found somewhat useful against Rakan was Nautilus, and sometimes they just ban Nautilus and blind pick Rakan. Was he overpowered? I wouldn't say so. But what's the most annoying, that he could play against pretty much anything, and he can play almost with anything, if that makes sense. So both of them, Zaya and Rakan, were really oppressive in the last couple of patches. I believe that were at least like 2 patches in a row. But I love seeing Rakan getting nerfed. Like, that's cool. Like, losing 2 flat armor is not the end of the world for him, so you still can play Rakan. But the fact that he's getting nerfed is cool, in general. Alright, Cosmic Drive. I've been reading about this one on Twitter. This looks so good. This looks so good. Alright. Ability power is increased by 10, so 100 now. So basically it's the same as Shadow Flame. Unique passive spell dance. Damaging the champion excluding damage over time generates a stack of 2.5 movement speed every 1.5 seconds for the next 5 seconds, up to 4 stacks. So that's 10% movement speed, okay. At 4 stacks, gain an additional 10% movement speed, so totals up to 20% movement speed, alright. Dealing damage refreshes this effect. Note, you only need to deal 1 instance of damage for it to start adding stacks on its own periodically. You then only need to hit them once again after a delay to fully stack it. You don't need to hit them 4 times 1.5 seconds apart. The intent here is that one spell does not fully stack the passive. I wonder how it works with Singed Q. Might check it. But overall, it sounds super fun for champions who benefit from movement speed, and those who need to be quick in team fights, like Orianna, like Victor, because both of them are somewhat immobile, so catching them off position usually kills them. But with Cosmic Drive, it kinda makes the game work in that way that they are kind of playing with Ghost without playing with Ghost, so they can run TP, but at the same time they are playing like they're using Ghost. It doesn't sound like a good buy for me for like first item, for like your core item, but it definitely sounds like a great buy if you're buying it as third or fourth item. But as I said, it's not going to be a great thing for all the champions, but for those who benefit from movement speed, like Orianna, Victor, probably Cassiopeia, I'm not sure about Cassiopeia, it's going to be a great buy, that's for sure. Alright, behavioral system, that's my favorite. Reporting is now available in match history. You can report another player by right-clicking on their row when viewing past game summaries in your match history. Okay, not bad. Alright, so that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope my patch rundown was useful for you. And see you next time. Bye.